Well, howdy, everybody. Yeah, of course, as usual, we're having some tech issues. And my computer decided to so, yeah, let's see how that goes. I'm on my phone right now. We're going to see how this works. I have not done this often on my phone. We're going to give it a shot. And we're going to see how it goes because I do definitely want to talk to Matt on this very interesting topic. I don't know if you guys can hear me. How do I see the comments on here? Guys, this is about to drive me crazy with this unbelievable computer tech issues. I know it annoys you guys, but I promise you it annoys me a lot more than it annoys you. I promise. So if you're annoyed by it, I am 100 times more annoyed by it. I absolutely guarantee it. I am working on it. I'm trying to figure this out. Don't really understand why it's so bad all of a sudden, but days. So let's see. I've sent Matt the invite, so hopefully he's coming. I'm also working on getting my computer up and running as well. Let's see. Benedict hears me. Thanks, Benedict. Good to hear. I have to make sure that I can hear Matthew. It's going to be an interesting chat. I don't know anyone out there watching who has already been able to watch the show that Nick Fuentes did with Piers Morgan. As everyone probably knows, I'm not a big Nick Fuentes fan, which we'll discuss, but it's really interesting. There's a lot to be learned from, from that show. I mean, just kind of the differences between generations. And I think what it means to have fundamentals, to what do you actually believe in, and what are your morals, I suppose. And there's just a lot of different things that I think that I took from it. I want to try to switch over here to the computer. You're going to lose my camera here. Bear with me, everybody. All right. You lost my camera, but hopefully you guys can still hear me. Maybe Benedict, you can let me know if you still hear me. Matt will be on here momentarily. Here he is. Matt, do you hear me? We are live. I just I got getting over some new tech issues, and my computer just decided to completely freeze right as I was signing in. So that's a good way to start.
Are you on your phone? Are you on your
I
phone?
was. Oh, okay. Now I got.
Now there's an echo and a delay.
Just a second. Just a second.
Okay.
All right. My phone should be off now. How's that? Sound better?
All right, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good.
Nice.
Yeah, if you're going to be hosting, Catholic Family Podcast, you kind of got to get that network.
Man, you're not kidding. Especially when I have a bishop on, and he was so good. It was such a good interview, and stupid internet connection, man. And it's like I don't really know what I can do. And part of it is I live in the mountains. I live in the middle of nowhere, so that is part of it. But it's also like, man, I may have to get one of these, Elon Musk, what's it called, Starlink or whatever, because whatever it is, Starlink. It ain't working. Yeah, I may have to get Starlink because it's this is ridiculous.
Maybe
ridiculous. Anyway,
yeah, I mean, no, I was just saying the interview with the bishop, which sounded really great, and I didn't finish. I got like an hour-ish or 45 minutes ish in, and so choppy. Not to come on the show, just start bashing you here, but no, it's unfortunate.
I hear you. It's as I said coming in, if it annoys everyone, I promise you, it annoys me a lot more.
Knowing how you are sometimes. Yeah, knowing how you are, I'm sure you were steaming on the inside. You had to be.
Oh man,
you had to be.
It was unbelievable.
Calm, cool, and collected on the outside, but man, on the inside,
and it's just like, and again, it was so good, and it's like, I just want to,
have a show where it's like, yeah, it just works. Oh man, well, what can you do? I suppose. Hopefully, this one will go better. Good to see
This is not as
Benedict and
important as
JJ.
the- yeah.
Okay. No, it's not. It's not. I love you, Matt, but no.
No,
you
it's not like having the
kinda
bishop on
outranks
talking
him.
about the society.
Oh,
Is this how the chat
man.
looks now?
Yeah,
It looks
what can you do?
different.
I can't figure out. It's not letting me go back over to computer version.
It's it looks like it looks like a phone screen.
It
you know?
does. I know, and
Yeah.
it won't let me select it because I think I signed in on my phone, and yeah. Anyway.
Hey, when I did the live restream 2 weeks ago, or whatever,
like
like I was in a state of shock. This is for it's a great featured software, but it's confusing when you're not sure what you're doing, and there are people who are live watching you, and you're like, I don't know.
You just freeze up, dead air.
What's my name again? Where am I? Well, I like
mom.
Mom. I like the title here, Zoomer versus Boomer. That's clever. That's clever. So, what did you think of the interview? I guess we could just kind of dive right into it. What did you think?
I thought it was extremely interesting. Now, you know, man, of Fuentes,
right? We differ there a bit. Yes,
Piers Morgan a lot, but not because of Piers Morgan. He's on lots of different guests, and so I find that intriguing. I don't find his opinions very intriguing. I think he's a liberal. I'm talking about Piers Morgan. So Piers Morgan, I watch actually pretty.
Yeah, right. His show is called Uncensored.
Uncensored. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
gotcha.
and it's good. I enjoy it, but he's your normal, he's your boomer liberal. It's just kind of what he is. But I watch more. I don't watch full shows from Fuentes. I just see really the more of the clips on the internet. And I think, my opinion of him is that coming from that show, what I found was that Nick Fuentes has actual principles, like actual traditionalist principles, but he breaks them regularly. And on the other side, Piers Morgan has absolutely no principles, like none. Like he doesn't believe in anything. He says he's a Catholic, and it's a joke. He literally made himself like not a Catholic on the show. He's like, no, I don't believe everything the Catholic Church teaches. And I think Fuentes was kind of like, wait, what? So in the end, I think Piers Morgan has no principles, doesn't care about anything but fame and money. Fuentes does, but boy, he goes against them a lot, with the way he talks, his language, loving Hitler. And there's a lot of stuff that I just don't like. So that's kind of my basic takeaway.
Well, I thought it was fantastic. And the reason why I thought it was fantastic was because now what's interesting is the reaction to the actual interview was very split based on age group. You had your boomer audience who really thought Piers Morgan exposed Fuentes and kind of got him in a lot of gotcha moments, and the younger Zoomer audience who, as we have said before, Nick Fuentes has almost like a cult-like following amongst a lot of his listeners who whatever he says is just like gold to him. He has a very attractive is not the right word, but he has a very devout, almost like how Trump had those, I will die for Donald Trump. He has a very strong backing, and different generations thought each side of that debate won the overall conversation. Now, what I admire about Fuentes is that he stood his ground in a lot of the things that Piers Morgan called him out on or replayed for him. And unfortunately, a lot of it is quite graphic and quite the language is quite vulgar, so I don't want to say a lot of the things that were said, but Piers Morgan tried to kind of gotcha him on several occasions by replaying some of his clips, and Fuentes stood by them. One of them, I'll edit out a few words, but Piers Morgan asked, so how do you feel about that clip where you said, and then he played it, where Jews run society, women need to shut up, and blacks need to be in prison? That's what Nick said, and then Piers Morgan said, how do you feel about all of that? And Nick just shakes his head and he says, absolutely true. Like at least he stands by what he says, whether it's right or not, whether you agree or not. He didn't back down, or he didn't say like, well, maybe it was a little too harsh. He really just stood by what he said on numerous occasions. But I think, like you said too, he had a moment where he asked Fuentes if he was a virgin, and Nick said yes. And Piers rolled his eyes, like, so why are you're
over and over again,
right?
And that became like his punching bag. It's like,
look at him, right?
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you haven't even slept with a girl. It's like, dude, aren't you supposed to be Catholic? I mean, it was really a joke. I mean, Piers Morgan became a joke. I mean, for any actual Catholics out there listening, it was like, okay, dude, you don't know what you're talking about, and you should maybe just shut up, because obviously you're just trying to provoke him into sinning, I guess. And that was bizarre. That was truly bizarre. And a lot of it showed you just how out of touch Piers Morgan is. But I think that it was so interesting, because part of it that really struck me was, first of all, Nick Fuentes is a lot more intelligent than Piers Morgan.
Brilliant. Nick Fuentes is brilliant.
He's smart. And I mean, and then again, I'm not a fan, but he's smart, and he showed that he's a lot smarter than Piers Morgan. And there were a couple things with Piers Morgan where Nick Fuentes was kind of like, do you not understand what I'm saying? It was really strange. And I mean, and then Nick Fuentes, the whole how many people died in the Holocaust, which I'm not going to talk about. He
gets it even higher.
He was thrown in prison. Well, yeah, and he's obviously being sarcastic.
He is, and Piers went right over his head.
Purely sarcastic, and Piers Morgan totally couldn't get it. He totally did not understand. He was like, "Oh, so now you admit that it was more than 6 million." And it's like, oh my gosh, man.
He's like,
you are such a boomer.
He goes, it could be 7 million, maybe 8, maybe even 12 million. And you're right. Piers is looking at him like, you really believe that? Wow. He's starting to see, right. It went right over his head, right?
Totally.
Right over his head. And I think there are so many points that he brought up. Like when he said, I have sons your age. I think you commented on this, Kevin. I have sons your age, and they don't share your views. They're compassionate, and they're understanding, and they're caring. And he goes, sounds like you got girls. Like
I legit laughed at that point. I mean, like I again, I've said it a million times, I'm not a Fuentes fan, but that was
what I think
sharp,
makes,
man. He's sharp.
He's very, very witty, and I don't know how many of his interview. He did an interview with oh wow, it was only a couple weeks ago where he went on his podcast, and I can't think of the name, but he truly has very high IQ, memory recall of random events that he can describe in detail, and it's quite impressive. He's very good with names. He's able to put himself into a time or an era in a geological location and just be able to spit off facts about the why, the what, the when, who was in charge, why they were in charge. He knows a lot off the top of his head. He's got a great memory, and he stands his ground. And what I think why he's so such a big name amongst Zoomers, he has a very wide range audience, but especially among young people, is because the narrative that we've been fed for so long, he not only challenges it, but he speaks very raw to his listeners. He speaks, his language needs to be checked sometimes, but he just speaks like a casual individual. He just speaks, like how a lot of young men speak. He doesn't have a filter. He says what he wants to say. He's often a bit
that's
rude.
My problem with him.
I think that's why he's as popular as he is, because people know that's he's not faking it. He's just in front of his microphone in his house, streaming all of these things. He said in a previous podcast that he was making $50,000 a month doing his show. So that comes out to what? $600,000 a year. He said that he's making a lot more now. He said on Piers Morgan, I'm making a lot more money now. So what I think that, I don't know if you caught this part too, but it ties into what I was saying about him being real. Piers Morgan mentioned his father. He doxed Nick Fuentes' father, and Nick on his own show the following day really said, these people, they don't know what it's like to be canceled. They don't know what it's like to lose their jobs. They don't know what it's like to lose their health insurance. They don't know what it's like to not be able to provide for their families. All of these people like Piers Morgan, who go in front of a camera, can truly say whatever they want, because what are you going to do to them? He has a $50 million net worth. He has millions of dollars at his disposal to care for what his children are cared for. Nick said, my father is a working class father. My mother is a working class mother. If we don't work, we don't eat. If they didn't get up every morning and put in their hours at their job, we didn't have insurance to go to the doctor. We couldn't get treatment if we were sick. These are real things that people are afraid of losing that makes them shut up. And so the everyday American is so tired of having to be lectured, who has a $300 million net worth. They can afford to. People like us, you can lose your job. You can lose your livelihood. You've got to provide for your family, for your kids, for your spouse. And he's kind of not caring about that. He said, I put myself in the political arena but go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
But then if you say something, so I mean, and I don't think that Piers Morgan should not have doxed, should not have said the name of his father. But actually, that was one of the points I actually sided with Morgan on, because he was just saying like, hey, look, you said your dad said this, and it was a pretty racist thing, and it's like, yeah, okay, so what's the problem if you said it on a show? And it's like, and if Fuentes is just going to be joking about it and being crass and rude and stuff, okay, fine. But then you do have to take the comeuppance from that. If you say something publicly, and if you're really famous, then your words are going to matter. If you say Hitler is cool, then then you're going to have something's going to come from that, and I mean, that obviously doesn't mean you should be in prison or anything, but it does mean something can come from it, and I think that's something where I don't agree with that. That's kind of, I think he kind of feels more libertarian in that way, where it's just like, I can say whatever I want because I want to. It's like, no, that's not Catholic. You can't say dumb things. You can't say immoral things. And I don't like that. I don't like, and I've seen even Sadie's kind of like, yeah, it's cool that he just says what he wants. Like, no, it's not. Since when is that the case? He says a lot of really terrible things. He does say terrible things about women and about blacks and about, a lot of things. It's really bad. I mean, he just does. And I mean, maybe it's even joking, but is that the kind of role model we want? Is that the kind of guy we want our young men watching? Absolutely not. I mean, I'm really surprised how much favor he gets just because he says some right things. And he does. I like his principles. His principles I agree with a lot. I'm probably like 95%. But then he goes about it in a totally un-Catholic way. And I think that's terrible. I think I think he's a really, really terrible influence.
Do you think he's a Fed? Because Elon Musk tweeted that he is.
No, that's ridiculous.
I don't think so either. Elon Musk tweeted that he's a Fed. And what's funny is Elon Musk tweeted that, and then this is a guy, Elon Musk, who does some really, really, really crazy stuff. And then like, you're the one who worked for the government, dude. Like, I don't know. And from what I'm told anyway, Nick truly did lose. They froze his credit cards. He was on the no-fly list. He couldn't buy. That's why if you go to his online store and you want to purchase anything from America First, his shop, you have to use Bitcoin. He cannot take a credit card transaction. It's all frozen for him. So he's really, really, and truly been canceled. That's that really is crazy. You've got people saying look at the View. The women on there say some of the most outrageous nonsense, and I don't know, they could have a cable show out of it, but he really can. But I don't know if you've ever seen Piers Morgan have Kanye West on his show. So the show is called Uncensored. And he has all sorts of these types of guests on his show. And Kanye West was extremely fascinating. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but if you watch Piers Morgan, have you seen it, Kev? Kanye West?
I haven't seen it with. No, I haven't. I've watched some with him, but that dude's insane, like legitimately insane.
It's very strange to listen to him. He's very bright, very, very bright. He knows a lot too. And he's crazy. His principles change all of the time too. I think he's changed his religion several times, and he's very crazy. But
he's nuts.
He's nuts.
So, I mean, he's actually nuts.
He's insane. Right.
Legitimately insane.
But his interview was good. And Piers has these guys on. Nick let out a lot of things unapologetically on the show, and I don't really know if we know the whether it'll have a positive or negative effect yet. I think there are going to be a lot of people who really like what they heard from Fuentes, and there are going to be a lot of people who are extremely turned off by what they hear from Fuentes. But ultimately, though, he doesn't care. He's got his army of followers, and he's good with that. And I think that I think there's a lot of debate as to whether those followers are even all real. He gets a lot of live viewers. I believe he gets like
I mean, a lot of them
80,000
are.
viewers
Yeah.
or so a show, or 90. This is a live show, and I'm not saying rewatch. On his live shows, he's at like 80, 90,000 people who are watching. But I think, I don't know. I
a little less than our show.
right around. It's right even. Yeah, it's pretty.
Right about the same.
It's pretty. It's pretty even. Right about the same. I know he does not like sedevacantists, and I know that because I did speak with somebody who was very good friends with someone who was in his inner circle. So people don't realize that when Nick Fuentes was up and coming, he wasn't just this random kid who just started his own show. He was in a circle of friends who all had this vision. On the Stop the Steal March in 2020, him and a bunch of buddies all got together and went to the Stop the Steal March, and they all participated. It's just that he kind of became the emerging name of his group of friends. And I was told that he was very clear that if you are a sedevacantist, you are not in this inner circle of I can't work with you. And so they were told to either change their position regarding the Holy See or leave America first. And they left. So and that was told to me by somebody who was very close friends with an actual person who was in that. So do I have confirmation of that? No, but it's what I was told. And he has some takes that are just not good. We know that he's mocked people who have some very strong devotions, novenas. He said, what are you, some super Catholic or like some Mario Kart Catholic where you're hitting gold boxes?
He said that you shouldn't pray to saints, right? he said some pretty wacky
I don't know if he said that, but I think he didn't like the whole
something like that. Yeah.
Right, like you have your rosaries with your Saint Michael medals on them. Like I think he said he found that a bit strange. He opposes the death penalty, which I guess if you're in the magisterium of Prevost, you have to, but we know that that's not a true Catholic position. But what I found strange too is here he is on Piers Morgan, where he's saying, "Yeah, I'm racist. Yeah, I'm a misogynist." When a woman showed up at his house and tried to get inside, and he pepper sprayed her, and the police showed up, they asked you, "Are you a racist?" And he said, "No, I'm not. My name's Fuentes." So sometimes I do wonder if he does say some of the things he says just because he thinks it's funny. I don't know.
And his point is, that was his point. I think that was part of the entire show. His point was that words don't really matter. I think that was his entire point. Yeah, but I think that's what he was trying to make a point of. Like, I'm a what do you call himself? Holocaust pluser, or I forget what the word he used, but it was like, he's like, no, I believe in more. I believe there were more than 6 million. So I mean, his point was that words don't matter. So if he calls himself a racist, his point is it doesn't matter. Like, that doesn't matter what you're saying. Like the word itself is meaningless anymore. And I think that that's a really good point, actually. And I think that part of what he preaches, so to say, is actually pretty true. And I think that's something that like a boomer like Morgan just can't get. He can't understand it. He cannot understand the younger people are not buying into that anymore. They're not buying into the whole you're a racist or you're a misogynist or you're whatever. Right. And I think that he's really, really right on about that. So I totally agree with Fuentes about that. I just don't agree with how he does it. Like when he says, I think Hitler's cool. And it's like, okay, if you asked him why do you think he's cool? Well, he doesn't actually think he's cool. He's just saying that. It's like, he's saying like he's using those words to get a reaction and pretty much being like, yeah, there are some things he did that were cool. I bet you Fuentes and I agree a lot about Hitler. I would bet. Maybe he probably likes him more than I do. Let's say that. But he doesn't worship Hitler. I'm sure. I would at least I think, and he's using these words in order to get a reaction because he thinks the words don't matter.
I think with what I have found interesting, and now I have not watched all his episodes. He comes on at 10, 11 o'clock at night, and they're hours long. I have no time at all to do that, but I've heard him say, a lot about Hitler, and I've heard him say a lot about the Holocaust, but I've never heard him give actual in-depth analysis of either of those things. He's kind of he's brilliant, but I don't know if he's ever truly gone into reasons why he thinks Hitler is cool or why he thinks the Holocaust is either exaggerated or if he denies it. There are arguments for that, and we won't get into that here, but he doesn't truly dive into those things other than just saying them. And I don't know. Maybe they're out there, but I have never seen him actually say things why or provide reasons as to why he feels these things are or are not true. And he's I mean, yeah, he's right to the point. He says what he wants, and I think it gets a lot of people thinking. And I think especially a lot of young men really like that because again, there's so much has changed where so many young men are being so feminized in their schools, in their communities. They're at a very young age, they're going to daycare, they're going to elementary school and public schools, and they're just surrounded by women constantly. They're being told that their behavior is not right. You know, you have to act like a girl, basically. Why are you not able to sit there and color all day? Girls and boys are different. And they're in an environment that just is suited more towards young girls. And I think that when they hear someone like Fuentes talk, he backs himself up because not only is he aggressive and he's in a way he's sort of like I guess I can compare him to Peter Diamond, and he's quick and he's aggressive and he's sharp and he's a bulldozer. He's definitely a strong personality, but he knows what he backs himself up a lot, so that attracts a lot of people. He comes across as confident. He doesn't care what you think, and he knows his stuff. And those three qualities make him a very attractive figure to a lot of people, and that just resonates with a lot of young, really feminized version of men. I'm not saying he's a model for young men, but a lot of that there.
No,
there's a lot of that there.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's
it's like it can't. Is there not anyone else? Is there not someone else who can do this? I mean, is there not a smart guy who actually has?
No one seems to have it in him.
And can talk like a moral person and intelligently. I mean, come on. You know, this guy's not it, guys. He's not it.
You've said this about the church that a lot of times we sit here on our podcast or our Twitter accounts and say a lot, but nobody goes out there and does all of these things. Right. I mean, we've talked about that before on the show. Like nobody, when are we out there in the masses preaching like John the Baptist? People really tend not to. And I think that's the case with Nick. He's whether we like it or not, he did it. He's out there and he's saying what you can't really say. And I think that people notice that he's definitely got courage. I don't know if courage is the word, but you know what I'm trying to say without saying it. He's not intimidated.
Sure, he put his neck out there, and
he put his neck out there. Right,
got his bank account shut down. That's a form of courage. I mean, again, there's some things he does that I respect, and it's like I think he does, uncover some lies, and he says it as he thinks it is. But again, I just can't say bravo to someone who does that. Who actually says horrible things. I mean, he really does. Like I've seen enough clips where it's like the dude says terrible things, even if it's joking. You just can't do that. You can't over and over and over again say despicable things about whatever. If you love Hitler or women, whatever it is, it's just inexcusable. And I think that eventually people just shouldn't listen to him. And I think it's a tragedy. Truly, it's a tragedy. The young men are watching him and Andrew Tate. It's like, there's nothing else. Like, I get it. I understand why young men want to break away from the establishment. I get it. I mean, look at Piers Morgan, for goodness sake. I get it. But is there nothing else than Andrew Tate and Nick Fuentes?
I think if you have the discernment to take what you want to take and disregard what you want to disregard, if you are capable of functioning in that way, because there are some people who whatever he says is my position too. And we can't take that. We can't echo Nick Fuentes on every political issue that comes up, or religion or whatever. We can't all have his opinions, but I think if you're able to filter out, discern yourself what you agree with and what it seems to be true and what you should kind of put to the side, I think that's a safe thing to listen to, because I think a lot of his points are right. I was actually speaking with somebody on Twitter the other day about how he doesn't make some distinctions regarding what the church has taught about race and what the church has taught about anti-Semitism. He doesn't make these actual Catholic distinctions, which the church has. He just kind of just goes with it politically, and he loses. I think a prominent state of Acanthus name out there, who I won't mention, has said before that he loses sight of the supernatural a lot. He doesn't view things through the scope of the divine, hand of God through divine truth. He loses some of that because he's very natural. He's very political. A lot of them are right, but he doesn't take that extra step and view it through a lens of the Catholic faith. Where if he did, he'd be spot on because he argues things like racism from a merely political human aspect, where we can actually look at some things that the church has taught on it and apply that, and he doesn't do it. I don't know if he's afraid of losing. I don't think he cares. I mean, he calls himself a Catholic, and I don't think he cares if people, his audience, would disagree with the Catholic Church. I don't think he really cares about that. So he should incorporate a bit more of that. But he's not well versed in that. He said he did a debate with Jay Dyer, that Orthodox guy, and he said, "I regret it. I was not well prepared. This is not my lane. I should have stayed out of it." And I respect that for him. But if he's going to talk politics and have his neck out, as you said, and kind of represent himself as a Catholic figure, because he incorporates that word a lot, then he should apply a bit more church teaching, and he doesn't with that. He falls into a very natural humanistic realm of anti-Semitism, racism, and the like. So I wish he would kind of bring that in.
I mean, here's the issue that he has, like I said at the beginning, I think he has principles. I think he actually has traditionalist principles. That's why he completely wiped the floor with Piers Morgan, who has no principles. So I think that was the reason, because he actually there was reasoning behind his arguments. Like, his arguments are actually based on something. But the problem is that if you have these principles based on, say, traditionalism, and that traditionalism is not actually based on the true Catholic faith, then it's failing in something. And that's what you see with him. You see that he's got a lot of it. Like, he understands a lot of the issue. He understands a lot of how, the family has been completely turned on its head. Men have been turned, the culture is feminized. I mean, a lot of different things. A lot of even traditionalist women are feminists. All things that I agree with. I mean, should women be allowed to vote? We'll talk about that some other time.
Go ahead. I just love how Piers asked him that. He goes, do you think women, Nick, do you think women should vote? And he went, no. He's just so I don't think Piers was ready.
And then Morgan's like, what does the Catholic Church say about that? What does it say about that? And it's like, and it's actually kind of funny, because I know that up until at least Pius X, the church was pretty clear that women don't vote. So,
correct.
That changed eventually. I don't know if the church ever taught against it, but I know up until him at least, and I think maybe even further. It was and because it makes sense. You go into it. We don't have to get into the whole feminism topic, but these are the types of things where I understand. It's like, yeah, I get it. Fuentes, I think he understands that. I think he understands the basics of that issue, and men dig it.
I think his lane, which he is very good in, is that, especially for someone like you, Kev, who lives in Europe, we're losing Europe. That's just a fact. You see pictures of Paris, you see pictures of London. We're losing these cities, and if he stays in that lane, he's on the money. He's right on point, and I wish he would stay there, because if you think about it, this is an issue that we're all kind of seeing and feeling, and we know that diversity is not our strength. It is a problem. It is a weakness, and he puts it out there. And I think it's funny how saying something as simple as Spain should be for the Spanish, England for the English, is considered bad. You're a hateful bigot who wants to keep people out. I think people are tired of that narrative, because people are truly seeing that the way of life, that's what happens when you bring immigrants in. You're not just you're bringing in culture, you're bringing in different beliefs, you're bringing in different values, you're bringing in different morals, and you're effectively changing your nation. It's not just like these people who look different from you now live across the street. The moral of your country is shifting, and people don't like the direction it's going. And I think he really does a great job of narrating that and making people a bit more aware of this is what's going on. The birth rate is plumb. Everything is not going in the white person's favor. And we can't be afraid. It's the only race that you can't mention. You can be Chinese, you can be black, you can be Hispanic. You can't say white for some reason. And I think he's on point with it.
Though, I'll disagree with you a little bit. I think that he does point out some things, but I think more of what he does is he inflames it. He he brings a fire to it. You know, he lights this stuff on fire because he's really good at it. He's a provocateur. That's
He's
what
good
he
at
is,
it.
right?
He's
So
good at it.
he provocates. He ticks people off. He gets young white men really angry about their situation, and some of it is justified. I think white men do have it bad in the Western world. I think that's true, and they are kind of mistreated. But honestly, a lot of it is because white men lost it for themselves. They lost, you know, they stunk it up for 2 or 3 generations, and it's their own fault. Why do you think feminism exists? It's because men let it exist. So I just think that's a big part of it. That again, he's more of just a provocateur. And that's again my question, and that's why I just cannot be pro Nick Fuentes, because I think he's not there to help educate. He's there to provocate, and that doesn't seem very Catholic to me.
I think we need to provocate it, though. I think if you were to, and I can't speak for them, and I don't. Well, think about this. I don't know if I can't speak for your parents, but I'm sure, like mine, that they would say that the America today is not the America that I grew up in. Do you think they would agree with that?
It's not the America I grew up in.
Right, even for you and I. Right. So why?
Yeah.
Why is it not the America that we grew up in? Immigration. We've gone from 1960, we've gone from 90% white to around 50% white in the few coming years. When you do that, your culture, your nation changes. And a lot of this can go to Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan's sweeping immigration acts, where he just made everybody a citizen. Changed that. It's one of the reasons why California was once bright red, a very, very, very safe red state politically, if we even care about that. It shifted in a really big way. Demographics did that. The way we live, the way there's a trickle down effect. Housing costs, the price of everything, all has trickled down to immigration. And I think they try to, we just want you coming here legally, as the Republican phrase, which I disagree with. Do you think someone named Vivek Ramaswamy should be a governor in America? I don't think so. And I think that is why our nation is shifting. And I maybe you and I would disagree here, but I would prefer that the Republican Party of that collapses and crumbles and a new party builds. Will it happen? These are big, big dreams. But I think a lot of the Republican Party needs to actually die, and die very quickly, because nothing about it is Catholic. Nothing about it is America first, and I think it needs to fall apart.
Well, I mean, like with Vivek, for example, I think I don't have a problem with his name. I have more of a problem with his religion. And I think if his religion is not even Christian, then obviously you're going to have different morals. And I think that is a problem. So I think we do need, obviously, a Catholic country under Christ the King. If that's our goal, obviously that's what we want. But I don't know. I mean, as Catholics, we got to really remember that we have to be really careful about rebelling. We are taught very clearly by the church that we cannot rebel unless under absolutely extreme circumstances. That's clear. And I mean, so if you're going to go to a provocateur, I don't see how that's Catholic. I mean, at least in many cases.
What do you mean rebel, though? What do you mean rebel? I just think someone like Vivek shouldn't win. What do you mean rebel?
Yeah, so if you just mean to vote against them, yeah, sure. But I mean, my point is that I think Nick Fuentes, his job practically is to inflame, racism, or inflame whites against everybody else. Now, I agree again that whites, there is a problem in the West, and whites are going to be minorities soon, and that's bad. I mean, I totally agree with all that. But what, as Catholics, what should our reaction be? Should our reaction be to listen to Nick Fuentes, get really ticked off about it, and hate all the blacks and Mexicans and Indians out there? Obviously not. And if it's not the case, then why are we listening to Nick Fuentes? Because that's what he does. That is his goal, is to provocate.
Well, I mean, to hate them is one thing, but to recognize, reality here. And I mean, if you think about it, now from what we were saying there, to go back a little bit, as far as I know, Pius X, St. Pius X, was the last that I have come across to speak on women's suffrage. I don't know if any other pope after that had spoke on it. There weren't many. What, 3 maybe since him? But we hear words of Pius XII, who does speak about how there are now. Of course, I don't know if the Pope would be infallible in this realm, but he does speak about hereditary factors, including race, that do influence culture and do influence what we as human persons do have a right to. And I think there are words to be kind of understood and applied. I like you said, if we're truly losing our country, and we've lost our country, and it's not going to come back tomorrow. We're not just going to fix this. But I think a lot needs to happen in order for it to change, and I don't think there's anyone really out there to do it. Because I think of a lot of why is America in a lot of ways less? I mean, a lot of the morals have changed and shifted. People just live differently, and it's affected who we are as people. You've seen videos of California, Los Angeles in the 1950s, and you wonder, you have to be upset by that. Where are the drugs? Where are the homeless people? Where's the poverty? Where's the trash? I'm sure it was there, but people were very presentable in that not so long ago era. People being very well put together, very well dressed. There's video clips of men and women going for a walk, and the women are in dresses, and the men are very well dressed as well. Where did that go? And why? And there's answers to that. It didn't just fall apart. I don't think it's because people got lazy and said, you know what, I'm just going to start wearing sweatpants now. And there's causes for all of these things. And a lot of it is just the dynamic of the culture has shifted. You brought in different people with different traits, different values, different levels of intelligence. All races are not the same intellectually. And it shaped our nation. And especially in Europe, as you know, I mean, I think you would be upset, just as I am, when you look at London and see a very, very, very diverse culture there. London should be for the white Englishman. It's common sense.
But again, I agree with all of that. But what's the answer then? So I mean, I agree that is all bad. Again, but what's the answer? What do we do? Do we listen to provocateurs and just get ticked off about it? Like what's the answer? Like, I think like then I hear like Nick Fuentes, or I hear you and Nick Fuentes and others are anti. Like you guys don't even want to participate in politics at all, and yet you guys just complain the most. So what is the answer? I just don't. I hear a lot of it's all bad, but what's your solution?
Turn off immigration. Who's going to do that? Trump. I got to say, Trump has done very good at the border. He has really stopped, from everything that I've read and looked at, the border influx has stopped. He's fallen short at where's the mass? I just saw here Pam Bondi said with the recent incident of the shooting of the National Guard, we're considering deportations. Isn't that what they ran on? Where are, and I think you would agree that where are the mass deportations? They're nowhere to be found. That's what needs to happen. If 2015 candidate Trump was actually president, I'd love it, but he's not. He's and I think he's kind of proven to be in with the deep state in a lot of this. Where did all these promises go? I don't think we're seeing them. He's letting it, and he has moments where he says some good things. I think he's throwing his base a bone. I don't know if there's been action on it at all. He campaigned on mass deportations. The numbers aren't there. He campaigned on lock Hillary up. She's walking free. There's just things that, and I know you can't deliver on everything, but these are the points that got him elected. And I think that's what Fuentes points to is, how can I be loyal to these people? What are they doing for me? It hasn't helped. Hasn't. And I hate to make this about me. You don't vote for the president because of yourself. We're not individualists, but I think a lot of things have just fallen apart, and we're just seeing the same sort of thing again, which I think people are getting fed up with.
But you're not, Matt. You're not answering my question.
What's the question?
What is the solution
right now?
What are you going to do about it? Yeah.
There's nobody.
What are you going to do? I mean, again,
not be forced.
It's all you'll do. It's all bad. Trump's terrible. Trump.
But what I'm going to.
Trump. I mean, Fuentes said he's going to vote for the liberals. I mean, is that?
Yeah, but
I think he's just kidding.
This is where.
Is that the answer?
This is where we lose everything, though. This is where we have always gone in. It seems as though into the voting booth saying, "Well, I guess I'll vote for Bush." I don't know if anybody loved Bush.
Okay, but then what do we do?
Why do we keep
the question, then what is the alternative?
We don't put these. We don't give these people power, and we make them lose so bad that they are forced to have to change. I think that's the way. If the Republican, let's say the Republican Party gets absolutely crushed in the midterms, absolutely crushed. A blue wave like we haven't seen, and they might. That has to force them to say, what did we do wrong? We were elected. We won. We won the House. We won the Senate. We won the White House. How did we just get wiped out? It causes some self-reflection. If we just give these people power, well, you're not the Democrats. They're going to just keep doing the same thing. Maybe now the thing that's hard is that they might have a wake-up call. They might campaign and say all of the right things, and then they get in there and they didn't do anything anyway. But hopefully it's a bit of a shock message that, no, we're not loyally behind you no matter what. We're not voting for Trump. Trump can't run, but we're not vote. We don't owe loyalty to these people. You're not delivering for us on what. So I think that's the solution. Stop putting these people in power and stop being just, stop settling for what they're giving us. Withhold your vote, withhold your support, let them get absolutely smoked and cause them to reevaluate. What did we win on? What messages were we sending? The thing about Trump got a huge portion of the young male vote, a huge one. That among Gen Z, that is gone. It is like in the teens now, percent wise. Now, I do think that if you look at every president's approval rating during their reign, they all go bad. Obama got bad, Bush got bad, Trump, they all dip into the 30s. You're not going to.
And he'll pull out a trick next fall. There'll be something. There'll be something he pulls out. We'll see what it is, but it'll be something. If it's the Epstein files or if it's getting rid of income tax or something, like he'll pull out something to try to win.
I think so.
But yeah, right now it's low, but he'll try something. I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, he just had, the right-wing media right now is insane. I mean, like truly like nuts. Like I don't even know what, like I get on Twitter every so often now and it's like, what is happening? I mean, like it's bizarre. All the Charlie Kirk stuff. I mean, it's weird. And so, and I think that they're really eating each other up. Yeah, they're eating each other up. And it's I'm curious to see what happens. But I mean, I guess, and I see, St. Anthony Radtrad, I see my dad here saying, yeah, we need to vote in primaries. I think that's more of the answer. So, I mean, in the end, if you're like, hey, look, we have Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I don't want to vote for either of them. Then I'm like, hey, I'm with you. Like, that is a fair, like, I don't want to vote for one of those two. I'm not going to do it.
But how many times?
But I think more of the issue is if you just say, I'm not going to vote for anyone. I'm not going to vote in a primary. I'm not going to vote down.
Vote for the Democrats.
That's just.
How many times have we said? How many times have we said he's our guy? He's our guy. He's our guy. And this guy's then he wins, and he's not our guy anymore. We keep doing this, and I've even Nick Fuentes, and he kind of shocked me a little bit because he said Tom Massey's our guy. I like Tom Massey. He seems like a pretty strong, principled politician. But how are you getting fooled here? Nick has said that 20 people are our guys at this point, and they all crash and burn. I feel like if Tom Massey were to win, it would be more like a Ron Paul where they would never let him win. But if he were to win, it would be the same sort of thing because he's controlled. It's the same sort of thing. Unless someone is truly willing to wipe out the system, they get you. That's what happened to John Kennedy, I feel like. And that's the reason why Trump has not been able to do a lot of what he wants to do or has said he would do, because ultimately I think he ends up being controlled. And I think we're just stuck. Now, I don't mean controlled by there's these master puppeteers pulling the strings, but I think there are heavy influencers who influence a lot of his policy. And we see that with the AIPAC donations. He's taken $200 million from AIPAC. Come on. That should be, I think that's a problem. How is that America first? You know?
No, I agree. No, I think that's true. And I mean, I don't think Trump has done a very good job, and I didn't love Trump going into it. But again, it's just, again, always my question is, okay, then what is the solution? And I still think I still don't really hear a solution from you. It's kind of like you let the Democrats win, and then what? So if in the next election, do you vote again or not? Like, do you let them really wreck it?
Well,
do you let them allow in another 10 or 20 million illegals?
Sure.
I mean, like, don't forget what you're saying. You remember that's what Biden did in 4 years. Kamala would have done the same. And so you're complaining about that being one of the biggest issues in America, but you're willing to just let the Democrats win again?
Oh, for sure.
Does that seem like the best solution?
Yes. Because look at what the Republicans have done for us. No, what has changed? I mean,
better than under Biden.
Everything's gone up. The cost of groceries has gone up. The deportations are lower. The house, where are we? I truly think that if Kamala won, we wouldn't see much difference right now. You wouldn't really see much difference. people are saying, and maybe we would disagree here, but Trump put out this thing about the Immaculate Conception. I don't believe a word of it. Beautifully written, very nice, more Catholic than Prevost has said so far regarding it. But I think he's using that to. That's what he's using to make you guys. Well, I guess I kind of support the Republican Party. It's those little, dog bones here. I mean, he's so Israel first. That's you're gonna be pro Netanyahu, and you're gonna do all these immoral. He's had 3 wives. He's pro divorce. He's pro LGBTQ. He's pro all of these things. You're gonna talk about the Immaculate Conception. I mean, come on. I don't believe it.
Yeah, it's probably some staffer writing it, but I still think but it is an objective good to have that posted by.
But it's a front, though. I think it's a front.
It's still good. You cannot say that is a. How is it bad?
Because it's going to bring people back in. People who would say, like, you know what, I don't like Trump anymore, but you know what, that's pretty good. Maybe he's not as bad as I thought. I think it has that effect on people.
But what's your solution? That I don't understand you guys. So it's just like, so let's let so you want it. So Gavin Newsom,
yes,
you want him to win,
yes,
and you want him to run for 8 years. And then
if it's
what?
Gavin Newsom and
who's going to vote, Matt? Not you, not St. Anthony Radtrad. Who's going to do it? Who's going to run for office? Who's going to be these moral people? Who's going to do it?
Who's going to take the helm and run for office? You're saying someone who I don't know, Nick Fuentes, President Fuentes.
Would you vote for Nick Fuentes?
Yes.
Okay.
He's almost of age.
Why?
No.
Why? But why? I mean, serious question.
Because he would. Now again, if we're looking at America as a as a sovereign nation, I think he would deliver on that. We are so intertwined throughout the world that I think that has to stop first. Then you could fix other issues. I mean, think about it. I was in this boat once. I did this. I was such a pro-life voter that I am going to go to the voting booth and all I'm going to do is vote pro-life. I don't care about anything else. This has been a disaster. Planned Parenthood funding goes up. Abortions have gone up. Where has that? There has to be a deeper change. The pro-life movement doesn't acknowledge a lot of things that need to be acknowledged.
But Matt, you're saying you should allow a greater evil so that perhaps.
But a greater evil in what way? Look, think of all the things the Republican Party supports. Is the Republican Party pro-gay marriage? Of course they are. Of course they are. Vivek said, "Marry who you want." Yeah. Vivek has said. So
Vance, I'd say JD Vance is not. Certainly not as much as most.
As much what?
As much pro.
Gay. Yeah, but I think the sort of. I mean, maybe him as an individual, maybe, but I think all of these positions have been removed from the Republican platform. They took. I think Mike Pence spoke about this. They took pro-life language out of the platform. They're removing all of these things. So those issues are almost gone. There's no real principles in the Republican Party, really.
Yeah, but there's a reason. But okay, there is a deeper reason for that. It's because pro-life among the voters is really, really negatively perceived. Now, I'm not saying that means right that the Republicans take it out, but there's a reason why they do it. Because if they go strong pro-life, the voters hate it. It's just how it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's evil.
Right.
We have an evil country. It's so, I mean, it's deeper than just.
Do you remember?
It is a deep rot within the society.
Do you remember when watching the debates and they would have the ticker feed where people would hold a little dial, and the more you agreed with the candidate, you turn your dial to the right, and the less you agreed with the candidate, you turn your dial to the left, and you can watch the debate with actual feedback from the what do you call them, like the sample voters or whatever. And every time either Pence or Vance spoke about abortion, the numbers tanked. Like it went very, very. And the Democrats always did extremely well. It's an awfully unpopular position. Remember, I think there was a vote in Minnesota. Should an unborn child who dies, or rather who survives an abortion, be revived? And the vote went to no. Like, this is where people are voting. So I don't know. I think I think in order to enact real change, we can't keep putting our faith in maybe Trump will fix it, maybe Ramaswamy will fix it, maybe Vance will fix it. I think the Republican Party has to die, and I think you don't do that by voting for them constantly because they're better than the Democrats. I would say that's my ultimate position. Maybe, I mean, I remember Musk, which whatever you think about all that, it said we need the America First Party. Might not be a bad idea, to some extent.
But do you think? I mean, how about locally? So
I think local
like,
politics is very different.
With the two big parties, like I get it. Like I get all of those arguments, and I think that it is a really broken system. But I think that is much more just for your national elections rather than.
I agree.
Local.
Yeah, I think local elections are very important. And we've had local. I've seen true change enacted by who's winning very, very, very small things. I mean, you think about it. If you focus on your town, change to a lot of things, transportation, change to the what do you call it? Like, can't think of when you do the roads and all of that. There have been candidates who are more effective in infrastructure. There you go. I can think of the word. Who are just more effective with that and have enacted tax cuts like locally and have done things that have just helped out. Yeah, absolutely.
You can get a good mayor or you can get a communist mayor. So I mean, so I think we agree on that. So I mean, in the end, like the presidential vote, I get it. Like I get it when people say they didn't vote for Trump. Like I did. I voted for Trump because I considered him the lesser of two evils. I don't really regret that. I still think he was the lesser of two evils, but I understand that argument. But I do think more of my issue is when people just say, I am not going to deal with politics at all. I'm going to bury my head in the sand and hate my country. And America is the worst thing that's ever happened. And it's just wrong. It's wrong. It is against charity, actually. And it's against the virtue of patriotism. And so, which is a virtue, guys. So
go ahead.
You have to actually want the best for your country and love your country for what it should be, not necessarily for what it is or who runs it, but you have to love your country.
So would you say it's patriotic though and I'm not talking about the nation as a people, but is it virtuous to passionately support radical Zionists? Of course not. And that's what these people are. No. That's what these people are. Sure. And I think that's a big problem. And we lose the supernatural effect of this a lot. But I think you have these people like Ted Cruz who's saying, if you bless Israel, God will bless you. Who knows what sort of curse we might be invoking upon ourselves as a nation by doing nonsense like this. There might be some sort of punishment from God for America as a nation to support a Zionist regime. We might not see it with our eyes, but there might be a supernatural punishment for these sort of things that I think matter.
Yeah, but again, that's two different issues. So it doesn't mean, it just means that you need to be really well informed about who you're voting for. So I'm not saying you need to vote for Ted Cruz, but you should still be voting.
But then we say, right,
voting in the primary. Then that's my point. I think, again, I don't.
Let's say it's Ted Cruz versus Kamala Harris in 2028, and then we're going to say, well, Ted Cruz is the lesser of two evils, and then he's going to run around, and then it's like, here we go again. It's just who knows what we're truly doing. We're looking at the natural, but who knows what we're doing to ourselves as America, with God's blessings and God's graces when we support these Zionist things,
Yeah, but again, there is certainly, unquestionably, the ability morally to vote for a lesser of two evils. That's certain.
But then you would even have to.
Theologians who.
Then you didn't have to argue who the lesser of the two evils are. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but I mean, again, I think if you're talking about Kamala or Ted Cruz, I think that's, to me, it's extremely clear. I'm not saying Ted Cruz is good, but he is, in my opinion, a better option than Kamala. I don't find that to be too confusing.
Freedom of religion, all these things that are so pushed by the Republican Party are, as you agree with me, are fiercely anti-Catholic. It's amazing how evil the lesser of two evils has gotten. There's the lesser of two evils. I mean, think about it. Is staunchly opposed to the Catholic Church. Is staunchly opposed to things like believes in contraception, believes in gay marriage, believes in freedom of religion. This is considered the lesser of two.
Yeah, but it's not communist, and it's not
just
trying to
so
put
bad.
abortion as a national law. So I mean, it is better. I mean, like, you're
But then
picking
we
and
say-
choosing all the things the Republicans do badly, which I agree with, but you're also just skipping over all the things that the Democrats are worse at. Again, allowing in 10 million immigrants, and Trump has shut the border. That's a fact. I mean,
No, I agree that the border. I agree that the border is good.
So then, I mean, how can you? So would you rather Kamala? So you complain that one of the worst things is allowing in immigrants, yet you would be super happy right now, and so would St. Anthony Radtrad if Kamala
Does he agree
was
with
the
me? I'm not.
president.
I'm not even seeing the comments
That's
here.
insane.
Really,
I'm sorry. It's just it doesn't make any sense.
and he also. No, I was going to make an Unicum joke. Man, I just think that like they do all these awful, dreadful, evil things, and then they hide behind like, well, we can say Merry Christmas again. Remember that when Trump was like, Trump was very good at playing people to play. He knew what the masses wanted. He knew people wanted, because they were tired of it. He knew they wanted to say Merry Christmas again. He ran with these things, if you remember those little catchphrases there.
But isn't it a good thing? I mean, again, it's a good thing. It's a good thing that they're posting about.
But it's a Trojan horse, though. It's a Trojan horse.
Oh, give me a break, a Trojan horse.
Of course,
it's a good thing. I'm not saying Trump is this amazing president. I'm not saying that, but it's still a good thing. It is a good thing that Our Lady is being honored by the president or whatever staffer wrote that. That is good. I mean, how is that bad? I don't understand how that's bad. Even if Kamala Harris did it, if Kamala Harris said, "Hey, let's honor our Blessed Lady on her feast day," I'd be like, cool. That's a good thing, even from Kamala Harris.
So just pandering.
To say.
It's all pandering.
Yeah, okay, even if it's pandering.
Pandering.
Sure. Okay, then it's pandering.
So
it's still a good thing to say.
But it's not, it's not. I do have to get running in a minute here, guy, but it's not sincere from them. And I truly think it's used as a tool to further their power and further their agenda by pulling in support from people they know they need. You know what I mean? Like, Trump knows that he needs he did very good with Catholics in 2020. What year are we even in? 2024. He loves doing that stuff. So if I need some Catholic support here because my numbers aren't too good, I have a rosary in my hand, guys. Like, it's just so fake to me. I just don't. Maybe it's because those of us, Kev, who are higher IQ see it.
No, that must be it. Yeah, but I mean, okay, let's look at this.
Real quick.
We cannot judge Trump's inner. No, we can never judge anyone's actual.
Correct. I agree.
But I think you're probably right that, I mean, if Trump is holding a rosary, let's just use that as an example. It probably doesn't mean that he actually intends to pray it. Now, I don't want to judge that, obviously, but you know what I mean. Yeah, we can kind of assume, yeah, it's probably a ploy. Still, even so, that is still a good thing, because Trump, as the president with billions of people watching him just holding the rosary, even if his intention is to get more votes from the Catholics, is an objective good. It is good because people see him holding the rosary and then they think, wow, I should get me one of those. Yeah, and then it goes, I should pray one of those. Even if he doesn't intend it the right way, it's still a good thing. It is good. I'm surprised that you're arguing that. It's good. Even if it's intended wrong, it's a good thing.
And then he's going to light the Diwali candles for the Hindu Festival of Lights in the White House.
That's a bad thing. Yeah, sure. He probably will.
So then maybe why can't we just say, like, people are going to be touched by his lighting of the candles and leave the Catholic faith and go to Diwali? Like, this is all the mess that we get intertwined in.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that we should base our faith on what Trump does. I'm just saying that it is still, I would rather him do Diwali and Catholicism rather than just Diwali. I
disagree. I disagree.
Every now and then yeah. You think you'd rather him just say stuff about Diwali and not even mention Catholicism? All right, interesting.
I would rather a committed Diwali person than an interfaith Yes, I would. I would rather just Diwali in the White House than a little Diwali here, a little Catholic here. Yes, that's even more perverted in my opinion.
Interesting.
On that
All
note,
right, fair enough. I guess we'll. I guess we'll
leave
agree to
we'll
disagree.
leave the listeners
Everyone
hanging.
already knows we disagree. Yeah, we disagree on this topic. Everybody knows that. We appreciate you guys in the comments. Even Brian, who thinks I'm a pathetic, what are you, little goy slop?
Oh, that's a Nick
dumb
Fuentes
people.
word.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it is actually one last comment. It is pretty amazing. I on Twitter, if you say anything bad
You're
against
screwed.
Nick Fuentes, even if you don't at him, like
They find
come out
him.
of
They find
nowhere.
you.
It's crazy, man. I think it's crazy. I mean, like they will come at you, and
That's
I mean
right.
they're crazy. They're nuts, and so I almost kind of grudgingly respect that. Like, boy, they defend their boy. So don't say anything bad about Nick Fuentes publicly. I'm gonna get a lot of crazy.
He
comments
ratioed
just
Elon Musk.
just from yeah.
He
Did he really?
Elon Musk tweeted that Nick Fuentes is a Fed. Nick commented underneath it the word ratio, and off it went. Totally clobbered him. Yeah.
I wonder if some of that is bots. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. Anyway, everybody,
You would
thanks for
think
listening to us.
would know and turn it off. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, it's true. Elon Musk could just turn it off. All right, we appreciate all you guys. Thanks for listening to us. We will plan to be back next week. I don't know what we'll talk about. We'll figure it out. I mean, I honestly, Matt, I do want to talk sometime about what is going on in the right-wing media about the whole Charlie Kirk thing, because it's bizarre. I mean, like Candace Owens, Tim Pool. I mean, these people I used to listen to. It's crazy. I mean, it is. It's wild, man. It is something that I don't even understand what's going on, because I was off for a while, and I haven't followed everything, but it's bizarre. So maybe next week we'll talk about that, or who knows, maybe we'll talk about something else. Anyway, we'll see y'all next week. Until then, have a fantastic Gaudete Sunday, and
That's right.
We'll see you next time. I don't know if it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll see.